two people, both sober within a year and a half of each other. And they're a couple. How does that work? It's their story today live.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope, open my eyes to see the world through different eyes, revealing your light, restoring hope.
All right, good afternoon. It's the 18th day of May in the Lord's year 2015. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and this is Recovery Monday with Restoring Hope Live and Unity Point CDC. Thanks for joining us. I wondered how your weekend was. It was a beautiful weekend here across central Iowa. A little bit of rain here and there messing up the skies, but otherwise nice. And I know that you took your granddaughter for the very first time to your family home at the lake, which, does that make her the fourth generation?
It's sixth generation.
Sixth generation. Yeah. All right. And how'd she do?
Perfect. I was so scared that she was going to wake up in the car and I wouldn't know what to do if she's crying in the back. But she did perfect and did real well the whole night.
Did you take her alone?
I took her alone, and then her parents came up like at 10 that night.
Oh, okay. All right.
So.
Are you one of those grandparents that's uncomfortable when you're alone with your grandchild?
Not really, but when I'm driving and they're only 9 months and they're in the back, I had a whole box of toys that I could throw back at her.
Yeah.
If I hit her right.
Next time, try French fries.
Yeah.
They do a lot better.
Yeah.
And Bob, you had a little damage at the horse farm, I see.
Yeah, wind knocked down some dead trees,
All right,
branches.
So no tornadic action, just
No, but it was pretty.
high
It was
winds.
whipping pretty. Yeah, probably
However,
40 mile an hour.
driving in that yesterday coming home was horrendous.
Yeah. How does that affect the horses? I always heard horses have a sense of what's going on nature-wise.
Yeah, the wind doesn't seem to bother them.
Okay.
They don't like rain, especially when it's cold, like a day like today in
Yeah.
the 50s. Then they'll go into the horse running sheds and just hang out there.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Bob spent 35 years working for you and I at the state of Iowa as a forensic scientist. Yes, he is CSI in real life.
And that'd be DCI.
What did I say?
UNI.
Oh, DCI. No, I said for you and I.
Oh.
Oh, I thought you meant the University of Iowa.
No, you and I, meaning the people, through the DCI as a CSI.
Okay.
Keep going.
And then you retired, and for some reason bought a horse farm, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
But you're liking it so far.
Yeah.
All right. Two very special people in the studio with me today. I watched, I guess I watched you both get sober, didn't I? Yeah, because I just had 5 years. So Shelly and Dale. Shelly is the, those names are interchangeable, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Shelly is the female. Dale is the male. Dale has 3.5 years sobriety, and in a couple days, Shelly will have 2 years and 2 months. So you've got just over 2 years.
Yeah.
Welcome. How are you?
Awesome.
Good. Glad to have you guys here. I need you to get a little closer on that microphone, please.
Thank you.
Now, I don't know a lot about them, and I do that on purpose. I try not to learn a lot about the people before they come on the show, because I want to learn about the people the same way you learned about the people. Because my fear is if I have all this background on them, then I'm going to skip over some of the details, and you're going to be sitting there listening to the radio or watching the podcast going, hey, who knows, why did they, huh? And so I don't know a lot about this. Are you guys married?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Were you married before you got sober?
Yes.
How long have you been married?
A little over 4 years.
I was going to thought you were going to let him answer that.
Uh,
All right. So a little over 4 years. So were you were both then quite active in alcohol use?
Very much so.
yes.
Is that what kind of was that one of the things that connected you? Did you like to party together and?
Oh, yes. We did that, definitely.
Yeah.
But what got us more together was just our occupations. And the drinking just kind of came along with it.
And what do you do for a living?
I work for the government.
Okay.
I work for USDA, NRCS.
All right. And what do you do?
I am a farmer,
Oh.
4th generation.
So you'd go out to his farm?
There's individuals that work in our agency that we help conserve our natural resources.
All right.
So we have a lot to do with all of our producers out there,
Okay.
and we help them conserve the natural resources. So we provide them technical information and also financial.
Do you remember the first time you two met?
Yes.
Dale, tell us about that.
Oh, we were at an event, and we had gone with a couple people, and we just ended up being together. And as soon as we were together, we kind of enjoyed each other's company, and from there on, it just kept on growing.
Good. Now, had you either one of you been married previously?
Yes.
Children?
Yes.
And how many kids do you have, Dale?
I have two,
Okay.
and they are 30 and 33.
So you got grandbabies then, I would imagine.
No.
Not yet. And you?
I have one boy.
Okay.
He's 19.
19. So
Yeah.
you wouldn't be a grandmother yet.
No.
No.
Thank goodness.
Being a grandparent isn't so bad, is it?
No, I love it because you can give it back at the end of the day.
Because you could what?
You can give the kids back at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true. You can. All right. So, who was the first one in your relationship to say, "I think there's an alcohol problem here"? Because if you've been married how long did you know each other before you were married?
Oh, I think about 10 years.
Oh,
We've
really?
known each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did you date?
Maybe 6 months.
All right. So you've been dated 6 months, and then you got married.
Yes.
So
Oh, good. Now that's a real alcoholic there.
yeah, we had a long engagement, 6 months.
Exactly.
We were together a little bit before that, but
Yeah.
that's when.
All right. So who was the first one to discover there was an alcohol issue?
I guess I was. I didn't have a problem with it. I knew I was an alcoholic. I had tried to get sober once before and was white knuckling it pretty much so. It lasted about 7 or 8 months. And that's about as long as you do when you don't work your program.
Yeah.
And you don't have a program and you don't have a sponsor. You know, that's about how long you go. And then I knew I needed to go back into treatment again. And that's where Shelly got me into Powell.
Okay. And so did you recognize his alcohol problem as soon as you started dating him?
I wouldn't say I recognize it was a problem because I was considered myself a normie. But
By the way, a normie is somebody who can drink but is not an alcoholic. And you might say, well, what's the difference? I use the analogy of being allergic to something. Dale is allergic to alcohol because it causes him to break out in whatever it is. And Shelly would be a normie because she would not break out in that whatever it is. Sometimes it's anger, sometimes it's depression, sometimes it's goofy, sometimes it's mean, sometimes it's, whatever it is.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Right. So we got married in April, and in July we didn't have time to take a honeymoon, so we went out to Colorado for 2 weeks, and that was my last straw. And we'd come back, and I said he needs to go into treatment
Okay.
because there was no way I could continue to do what I was doing with him.
And what was your alcoholism like, Dale? Talk to me about what it was like.
My
Sun up,
alcohol-
sundown.
Oh yes, most definitely. I mean, my routine was, I had vodka with my orange juice in the morning, and that would be about halfway through the day, and then I'd probably switch to rum and Coke, and there may have been some tequila just there thrown in randomly throughout the day, and then I would drink rum and Coke at night.
So were you getting to a point where you felt like you couldn't do life without drinking?
I got to the point where I didn't want to do life.
Yeah.
And didn't have any other means or a way out. I didn't see a way out. Mm-hmm. And so I was in a situation where I was carrying a lot of guilt and a lot of shame. And so I continued to drink because I was a bad person. So that's what I was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And just pretty much gave up on life just because a lot of things had gone wrong and said I had enough. Or didn't say I had enough. I just couldn't find a way out.
Were you in counseling at all?
No, not till after I went to Powell.
Yeah.
And then I've had some really good help from
Yeah.
strong people.
Yeah.
Now, you said Dale and Shelly, our guests. Dale's 3.5 years sober. Shelly, a little over 2 years. Been married 4 years. You said you're a farmer, fourth-generation farmer. So you worked on your farm. And so your alcohol usage didn't get in the way of... Nobody else noticed that it got in the way of your job until you came along.
For the most part, I would think.
I was getting bad enough to the point that it was, part of my job was the reason I drank. It was part of the individuals that were there that was causing me to drink. And I didn't have a solution to that.
What do you mean the individuals?
There was a certain individual that was just not doing things accordingly that we liked in the family. And it was causing issues and didn't know it at that point in time.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right. Now, Shelly, you still consider yourself a normie?
Oh, heavens no.
Really?
Really.
Well,
I am an alcoholic.
Okay. But who said normie? Did you say normie or did you say
normie?
So were you ever a normie?
In my mind, I thought I was.
Okay.
But I don't.
Because you drank less than he did.
Yeah.
And not as often as he did.
Correct.
And not as much as he did.
Correct.
So that makes you a normie.
No.
I know. I was kidding. Yeah.
But that's what we all did.
Yeah.
When someone would accuse us of being an alcoholic or you drink too much, you always think of somebody that's worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it's like, well, I'm not like them,
Right.
so I'm not an alcoholic.
Right. Yeah. All right. So when did you realize you weren't a normie?
After a year of watching him get sober.
Okay.
I had quit drinking when he was going through treatment as a support, and I went through family side of recovery. And I thought that's where I belonged. But when I got through with my family side of recovery, and he was sober, he was dealing with his program in his life. Well, there was a lot of hurt and that he has caused me. And I started drinking, hiding it, isolating, to where it was out of control.
So both of you were kind of doing the same thing. You had problems and didn't know how to solve them. So the drinking you felt was solving the problem, when in the end it was probably causing more problems.
Exactly.
But you don't know that at the time.
Exactly.
Just want to forget.
How did you see her drinking? When did you realize her drinking was a problem for her?
When I was getting sober, it became obvious as she was drinking more. There's more evident to me in just the conditions that she was in and how she was doing things. It was becoming a regular pattern, and I did not know that she was hiding and drinking, other than I suspected it. As a recovering alcoholic, you're very sensitive to the smell of alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you hid the smell? Somehow she was hiding that odor, but you couldn't sense it?
Probably I wasn't confident enough in myself to be able to say something about it. Or I wasn't in a frame of mind to really be able to approach that, I would say.
I'll tell you, that is a hard one, even for me. If I smell it on somebody, I will say to myself, oh, it can't be. I hope it's not. I hope it's not. So instead of accusing them, I just try to pretend like it's something else. I think a lot of people do that, because to accuse someone and it's not true is horrible.
Now, Shelly, hiding it, was part of that hiding it so that it wouldn't affect him, or was it just that you didn't want him to know? Because how does a drinker or one that's going through a program live with a drinker?
Well, that's the key point, living with them. Dale and I don't live in the same house right now. I live here in Des Moines, and I've got my job here, and he's a farmer in another county.
Oh.
So that's how we've been able to make it through here.
Weekend warriors.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to come back. Dale and Shelly are our guests. A little over 5 years sober between the two of them, but only married for 4 years. Interesting how this disease becomes aware to us, isn't it? We'll talk about that when we come back. Live here on The Truth, Recovery Monday, powered by webcast1live.com.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Hey, psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places, especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, reliable, trustworthy. It's AMCO on Hickman Road in front of Kmart, and it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give AMCO on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent you.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
All right, good afternoon. 21 minutes after the hour. This on 99.3, powered by webcast1live.com. And Recovery Monday is brought to you by the good folks at Unity Point, Powell CDC. I do want to remind you that our radio station is in the process of expanding our signal. And what that's going to mean is if you are a person who listens to this radio station, depending on what corner you turn and how far south you go in the metro, you'll lose us. Or even how far east you go in the metro, you'll lose us. Or depending on how far west you go, you'll lose us. North seems to be fine, but the other directions were weak. And so we applied with the Federal Communications Commission and last fall received permission to upgrade and expand the radio station. And at some point, this radio station will be able to be heard from Jasper County all the way over to Warren County and beyond. It'll go down south into the Lucas County area and up north to the Boondocks. So it'll have about 1.3 million ears listening to it. And we appreciate you hanging with us and being part of this this launch. I've told people before, I've built 4 radio stations in my life in this town. 3 of them were based on greed, position, power, and more greed. And a little bit of, I'll show you what I can do type of stuff. This one's all about Jesus. I can't believe that through all these years of being in this business, that God has finally granted me the opportunity to do it for him. I feel like this period of my sanctification is like going through seminary or priesthood or whatever you want to call it. And we're being prepared for full-time ministry here in the Des Moines market in something that I love. I probably would have taken a broom job at a local nunnery or a church, but instead he let me have a radio station that preached the gospel 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I couldn't be more pleased to be a part of that. And I thank the folks that support us and sponsor us, Chris Roloff and Mike Carbone and Stu Epperson Jr. and Ryan in there and everybody else that helps us do this. All right. By the way, I got the new name plaques for the new studios, and you're both on them.
Oh, cool.
You both get your name on there.
Really?
Yeah, I'll send you a bill. It's kind of like HBO.
Does that come with an office too for Lila?
You all share an office. You all share an office, and you can choose either the right elevator or the left elevator. And the news is you get 6 different views when the elevator doors open.
Awesome.
So, but
Is that where the plaques are going in the elevator?
No. The plaques are going outside the studio. You are on the plaques, though. All right. On Monday, we do a show called Recovery Monday, which is brought to you by Powell CDC. And I always tell people that, you may not, you may suspect, we talked a little bit about the odor of someone drinking. You may suspect that somebody in your family or somebody you love or somebody in the next cubicle or somebody in choir or somebody at the church is drinking. But you don't really know what to say, and you could be wrong, and there's nothing more embarrassing than accusing somebody of being an alcoholic when they just have bad breath and they're dumb. And more importantly, if they are alcoholic, what do you do with it? What do you do? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You call Lila, or you call Bob, or you call me, or you call Ryan. You now know somebody. No more excuses.
I just don't know who to call. I mean, I'd call if I knew, but I don't know who to call.
You now know somebody. You can call Lila. You can call Bob. You can call me. You can call Ryan. Or you can call Powell directly at 263-2424. And there are people there that are waiting to help you. Waiting. They're waiting for you to be helped. And that's the great thing about Powell CDC. All right, our guests today are Dale and Shelly. Dale is a full-time farmer. Shelly works for the government. Dale is 3.5 years sober. Shelly a little over 2. They've been married they married and dated less than 5 years. So it was after they got married and dated that they realized there was issues here. Now, Shelly, my question to you is, Dale, how long have you been an alcoholic?
Yes.
Forever?
No, probably about 10 years.
All right. So when you started dating him, you didn't sense any of this?
No.
Why?
Because that was just my way of rolling. Nothing was different the way I grew up. That was just part of life. My father introduced me to alcohol when I was very young. And I think probably by the age of 13, 14, I was making drinks for him at 5 o'clock. They were right.
Wow.
Yeah.
The reason Lila and I looked at each other is because we have consistently, haven't we?
Yeah.
Bob, we have consistently discovered that people are introduced to alcohol right around 14. And we don't know why that's the magic number. I suppose it has something to do with puberty, playmates in playgrounds, parents, I don't know. But very rarely do we get anybody that's under 14 by much that experiments with alcohol.
No, I did. My first taste of alcohol was when I was 5.
5?
My parents would have parties, and then all the kids would be down in the basement. And I recall my dad bringing a drink with AA, Ancient Age and 7, and a little food coloring.
Ancient Age. There it is. That's what my parents drink. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody else mention that before now. Were they Episcopalian too?
No.
No, okay.
So they would bring a drink down to the kids?
They did to me. I don't recall them giving anybody else, but I was the oldest one. And then I was also their caretaker. By the age of 10, I was taking care of all these kids.
Well, how many is all these kids?
There was at least 10 of them.
Wow.
Oh, you mean from the party, everyone would bring their kids and you'd be responsible for all the kids?
Right.
But then you got drunk.
Well, as a kid, at that time, I don't really remember being drunk when I was.
That's why you were drunk.
Yeah.
You don't remember.
Yeah.
No, you don't remember feeling being drunk.
No, I don't remember.
Do you remember feeling like this is a little weird that I'm drinking at this age?
I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I felt like I was my parents. That was
Yeah.
really neat to be able to do that.
Yeah. Was your father an alcoholic?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's still living,
Yes.
and he's still active,
Yes.
and he's not reachable.
No.
You've tried, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And what does he say?
That's just the way he's gonna be.
Okay. How about mom?
Mom is not an alcoholic. I would say she's a codependent. I think
Yeah.
that's how I ended up being a big codependent person.
Yeah. Just like dear old mom.
Yeah.
All right. Dale, how about alcohol in your house growing up?
I was raised in a Baptist church, and alcohol was not there at all. Matter of fact, when I was in high school, I didn't drink and didn't really start drinking until I went to college. And even then, it wasn't much, just beer occasionally and stuff. And never was really a problem. It was even, looking back, it's probably alcoholic, but I, used to always carry a bottle in my truck along with me. It was kind of medicinal purposes to clear the crud out of your throat.
Yeah.
And, but it was never really a problem until I went through some life trials, and from there on, it just kind of started spiraling down because I have the genetic hook for alcohol.
Yeah.
Because I did not know it, but that was the real thing in my family, that why alcohol wasn't around, because my great uncle had died from alcoholism. And my grandma was deathly a fear that her husband, my grandfather, would start drinking. And so that was just the real no. And
But did anyone talk about it?
oh, heavens no.
Yeah.
See, I didn't learn all of this stuff until afterwards. And then after seeing my patterns, and it's obvious, it just comes out very blatantly.
Isn't that funny how we can watch TV shows and movies and watch relatives or watch neighbors, and we just don't realize that we're on the verge of, an incredible dependency and no cure for this disease except willpower. It's incredible. Dale and Shelly are our guests today. Dale's 3.5 years sober, Shelly 2. And Shelly, you thought you were a normie.
Yes.
Did you think she was a normie?
I would say I was probably new. Well, once I was getting sober, no, I know she wasn't. Okay. But it gets to the point where you can't convince somebody, and I realized that. And I was struggling enough just in my own early sobriety, just trying to stay at an even keel, enough on that.
So there was a role reversal. Because at first, and I'm putting words in your mouth, don't let me, but you basically told him, you're an alcoholic, you drink too much, you got to stop. And then a year later, he's saying the same thing to you.
For the most part, yes.
Did you think he was just being mean to you and just, you made me quit, so I'm going to make you quit too?
No, something had happened with me that got me in the emergency room.
Can you share it, or just you went to the emergency room?
I just went to the emergency room.
Okay.
And I ended up spending the day there.
Okay.
And Dale had to come down and get me. And I knew at that point in time
that you had
that I was
alcoholic.
Yeah, I needed help.
You drank too much.
I drank too much.
Now, you said earlier you work for the government, so you live here in Polk County.
Correct.
And where's your farm at?
It's up in Grundy County.
So you're 2 hours away?
Hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half.
But too far for you to drive back and forth every day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So you two have a weekend fling, and then you go back to your home. Has it always been that way?
Yes.
Yeah? Is that what makes a good marriage?
No.
No.
I'll tell you what, my husband worked out in Pennsylvania for 1.5 years, and he would be gone from Monday morning until Friday night. And it is hard to get readjusted. I mean, you're used to doing things on your own, and then you have the first day you're trying to get readjusted, on Saturday, and then Sunday you're getting adjusted for them to leave again. So it's you always feel off kilter. I did. It was hard for us, and we didn't particularly get along real well then.
You were sober, though.
We were sober, but it was, and I had 2 little kids at home trying to do that, but poor me, feel sorry for myself. But it's hard, relationship-wise, to when you're used to being by yourself during the week and then having to be together.
Yeah.
I just find.
Plus, then you add the fact that where I come from in Des Moines is 2 different worlds.
Oh yeah.
So there's just the adjustment going back and forth, whether it's either one of us.
Yeah.
Because you are rural Iowa.
Yeah.
4th generation on the same piece of land.
More or less.
Yeah. Is it cattle, sheep? Is it crops, both?
I am a gentleman farmer right now. I'm halfway retired, just farming corn and soybeans.
Okay. All right. And do you ever see yourself cohabitating together?
Yes.
They both said.
Yeah.
Oh, look at their faces. They are smiling now.
Living apart while we were getting sober, I think has saved our marriage. Because I've been able to have my own time to figure out who I am. And so that's been great. But just today I'm very excited. We want to get together. I was planning on retiring at the end of the year.
Good. Are you still?
I think I will leave,
Yeah.
but I don't know what the opportunities are going to be out there.
All right. Our guests today are Dale and Shelly, combined 5 years together. So what happened? We heard what their life was like. What happened? What made Dale put the plug in the jug 3.5 years ago and Shelly 2 years ago? We'll talk about that and later what their life is like now, although if you could have seen those smiles. I think you heard them, but if you could have seen those smiles. We're coming back live from Powell CDC. This is Recovery Monday.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs,
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're gonna make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do. What type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
Good afternoon, 22 minutes before the top of the hour. Salem Radio Network News at 3 o'clock, and then at 3:03, The Steve Deace. Live in the afternoon. Now, if you're confused and you say you heard that he was coming on this radio station, but you still can't hear it very well, the expansion of the signal is coming shortly. Sometime in the next 3-4 weeks. We're not sure. We're not putting a date on it. It'll happen when it happens. It's in the good Lord's hands, and he gave us some good weather last week, so we got some more work done outside on the tower and the transmitter. Studios and everything are done inside, so it's just a question of climbing up 299 feet and hanging a 1,200-pound antenna off the top and pointing it and engineering it and all that stuff you don't care about. But I promise you it is coming. And our goal was to get it by the 4th of July. That was our goal. By Independence Day, we'd be on the air, and I think we'll hit that clearly. All right, so Dale and Shelly are our guests today. Deli and Shell. Dale has 3.5 years sober. Shelly, a little over 2. They've been married for over 4. So only going into as much detail as you want, what happened that made you finally say, I've had enough. This is it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
For me, it was pretty obvious. It's either do it or die.
Okay.
I was to the point of my last, or my 10 years or 12 years of hard drinking was consuming my body. And I either had to change or do something different. I was at the bottom.
You don't think you'd be alive today?
No.
No.
I was told when I went in from the hospital if I waited another 48 hours at that point in time.
Wow. You were really deteriorated.
Yes, I was.
And you had somewhat of a miracle happen to you.
Yes.
And I want to hear about that in a minute. Okay, you're willing to share that?
Yes.
I guess I should have asked if you're willing to share that before I ask you on the air if you're willing to share it.
We can make it work.
All right, okay. And you went into the emergency room.
Right.
And then decided that was it for you.
Correct.
All right. And had you previously tried to quit, or had you just been drinking since you were 14 and didn't think about it?
I had quit drinking for 4 years at one time, and was not a problem. Now, knowing what I know now, I was sober drunk.
Okay.
Because my behaviors, activities, it was still.
The isms were still there,
Oh,
as
boy.
we say.
Yes.
Dry drunk.
Yeah,
Yes,
dry
dry
drunk.
drunk.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know what that means, it means somebody who is no longer consuming the alcohol but is not working a program. Now, you may say, well, that's just an advertisement to get somebody into your 12-step program, right, Mac? I mean, you're just trying to... No. What an alcoholic suffers from are many what we call isms. The one I like to describe the best is you have the self-importance the size of Manhattan and the self-confidence the size of a pea. You never say the right thing. You never do the right thing. You're always the center of attention. You have to be the center of attention. Oh, by the way, you're a liar. I'm sorry. No, you didn't lie. You're a liar. You just create everything that you need to say so that you can skate free, be not responsible for your actions and everything else. And what a person does when they go through the 12 steps is they learn how to discard those, manage them, handle them, be tolerant of them even. You know, some we never lose. They're just always right there. Their character defects are just right there. And one wrong move, and they're all over the place. Just boom! They blow up, and they're all over the place. And it's kind of like the die pack in the money bag. You can't get it off. And so the 12 steps teach you how to make sure that die pack doesn't go off, that if it does go off, you know what to do right away. We call that the exit plan. And it just gives you healthy tools for living. And I would challenge anyone who is non-alcoholic, whether they drink or not, to prove to me that their life is any better than any of ours in this room who have gone through the 12 steps. Because the 12 steps teach you things in life that are tools that you've never learned before, and plus you reach a level of spirituality. You know, I loved what you said earlier, Dale. We weren't on the air, so nobody heard it, but religion isn't important to you anymore, and yet we were all raised around religion. I'm the same way. Now, do I do religious things? I don't know. I go to church. Is that religious? I guess so. I go to Bible studies. Is that religious? Well, I guess so. I read the Bible. Is that religious? I don't know. I guess so. But at the core of who I am now is spirituality. It isn't a religion. It isn't going to church on Sunday, getting dressed up and checking off the box. And I think most people, Lila, that go through the 12 steps find that level of spirituality.
Eventually they do, yeah. And I would say you're very spiritual, Dale.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like my alcoholism and adding the 12 steps to it. And from what I learned as, my Christian background and through the churches, once I put them all together, it's just meshes really, it puts everything back in order again like it should be. And in a lot of ways, those truths have come true.
Now, you had a near-death experience.
Yeah, I had a near-death experience, and that's why one of the reasons I was so weak to begin with. So when I started drinking, that's what brought me down real fast. I think that was a bottom time for my bottom physically, my body out. And then since then, and through my recovery, I just believe that, God brought me back for a reason, and I'm still here. So it was my job, is to continue to be helpful to the alcoholic community.
Now, are you involved in the community up in your home county? Do you have meetings?
No, actually, I'm not. That was one of the benefits, one of God's nice little gifts is the fact that she lives down here. So I've been able to come down here and get sober, and that's been one of the things that's made it really easy.
He comes down on Thursday nights, too.
Yeah.
And do you care if we say...
No, I have kind of... My routine is just work, so I come down on Thursday nights, and I have a continuing care or what...
Aftercare.
Aftercare is what it's called. And then on Fridays, I'm a faithful person at the White House, noon meetings. And then depending on whether we go back up there or whether I stay here, we'll go to a meeting on Saturday or Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you... Dale is our guest. He's 3.5 years sober. Shelly, 2 years sober. And what would you say... what's your purpose in life through God? What is God telling you now your purpose in life is?
I guess my purpose in life comes back to, I believe back to Genesis. I'm a caretaker of the land.
Okay.
And that's what my job is, and to do it well and to be a representative of that. Now, being a recovering alcoholic, that also gives me a different perspective on life and what I can do. And it also... There's a lot of alcoholism in the rural community, just like you had said earlier. It's real easy to go on and not other people know about it.
And what would you say that God taught you about yourself during this experience?
When I was younger, I prayed for three things. I prayed for wisdom, compassion, and terrible thought about it. Patience.
Patience. Okay.
Which are three things a person should never pray about it. But through this program, I've learned the patience. Mm-hmm. I've learned compassion for others because I have seen people in places and have an understanding of what they are. And I'm learning kind of the wisdom of how to put this all together, So what God is, they're continuing to build what I'm doing. And my purpose is to do the best I can and to help others.
That's the 12th step, having had a spiritual experience. All right, when we come back, what's life like now? Dale and Shelly still living apart an hour and a half, seeing each other on the weekend. Some would tell you that's a perfect marriage. But Shelly, you've got plans to maybe retire or to find something different, and then you'd move up on the farm and be a farm girl. What does that program look like for the two of them, and how will they give back to a program that's helped them both save not only their own life, but the life of the one they love. We'll talk about that when we come back live here on Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC and powered by webcast1live.com on 99.3 The Truth.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can give these grandkids back, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We can help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
10 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News at 3 o'clock. And then at 3:03, the Steve Dace. Back live on the radio and afternoon drive. If you are still having a challenge receiving our signal across the metropolitan area, no harm, no foul. We haven't upgraded the signal yet. The weather has been somewhat cooperative. You don't want to know about the entire process, but we're on schedule. Our goal was to get it done by the 4th of July, and I do believe we'll have it done by then. New studios being built in the Merle Hay Mall Towers right here in the center of Des Moines. People say, why the towers? Why Merle Hay? Why not somewhere else? Well, the Merle Hay Mall Tower, which is the 6-story building that comes out of the back of Merle Hay Mall, is one of the tallest points in Des Moines. Don't know if you realize that. And on top of the Merle Hay Mall Tower is the Des Moines PD, State Patrol, EMT, and some other radio operations up there. And so for us to be able to put our radio stuff up there was easy to do, and lots of the possible electronics. Plus, we have this incredible view of the southern. We have a 360-degree view of our community from up there, so it's wonderful, and we're very pleased to be a part of that.
Now, you're not saying that that's the tallest building. It's just the elevation there with the building makes it a high point.
I mean, Shirley Principal Tower, this building, probably the Hub Tower, is probably taller. But I will tell you that from the roof of Merle Hay Mall, from the tower, you can see the Principal building and you can see a little of the Ruan building, but that's it from downtown. Remember that downtown Des Moines is a very, very low place. That's one of the reasons why we had such horrible floods in '93, is when both those rivers came together and started backing up, it just blanketed our community. So on top of that 6 stories, you can see, I mean, on a clear day, I can literally see Ames. I can see the outline of Jack Trice Stadium over there on the south side of the community. It's a beautiful area up there. I can't wait for 4th of July fireworks from up there.
Yeah.
Except I'm scared to death of heights. I do. I walk around that
Put a
roof.
telescope.
I know. All right, Dale and Shelly are our guests. 3.5 years for Dale, 2 years for Shelly. So what's life like now, Shelly? I mean, this is the first time in your life you've really been, well, you said you were sober for 4 years, but you were angry sober.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a long time ago.
All right.
Now my life's great. I'm able to deal with life on life's terms. Some days are not so good, but that's okay. But yeah, my life now is great. I love my job. I love what I do. I love my husband, and I'm looking forward to a life with him, living with him.
You know, knowing these two for several years, that wouldn't have been. Both these people have worked the program really, really well, and individually, they each have done their own work, their own homework and stuff. And I just, it's so neat to hear you talk like that, both of you, because I'm not sure without the program if that would have been true.
No, and I think what you said was the key to it. We each have our own program.
Yes.
And it's very definite. She has to do what she needs to do, and I need to do what I do.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't always mix. But that's the tolerance that you learn in the whole situation.
Many couples try to get together and make the other person their other half without really knowing themselves. And then if they break up, they don't know who they are. So this way, it's like two wholes coming together to make a good couple, but they each know themselves. The other person is the frosting on the cake rather than the cake, if that makes sense to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For those of you that are listening on the radio, you can't see this, but Dale specifically looks like a biker. He's got the headband on and the Fu Manchu and the graying hair, but you do yoga.
When I first found that out, I just thought it was the neatest thing. It's like this gentle giant is who he is. He's very philosophical. He thinks deep. He's just a neat guy, and he's not afraid to tell people he does yoga. I think it's cool.
Did you do yoga before you quit drinking?
No, actually, yoga, to be honest with you, yoga is one of the things that I started after I started first getting sober. That was one of the things, the activities that I started doing just happened in the class. And I found it relaxing and it started moving my body. So, the benefits of it was, the physical benefits is what I started for at first, and the other part came along afterwards.
Do you do yoga with him?
I haven't yet, but I plan on it.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Every time I think of doing it, I keep thinking, now Dale has done it, I can do it.
That's right. That's right. If he can do it, I can do it. But no, that's not true. I can't do it. So, Shelly, what's the best thing about being sober?
Being able to feel the joy and to really be happy. Gosh, there's just so many things. The people that I've met, I've got true friends. And that's something I never had before.
Okay. Are those friends in the program?
Yes.
Do you have true friends outside the program?
Yes, I have a few.
Okay.
But not very many.
But it's easier to have true friends now when you know yourself.
Well, and everyone else knows you too. I mean, they know stuff about you that people outside those rooms don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
At a deep level.
Do you guys socialize with people in the program?
Yes.
Some.
Yeah. I mean, I know you probably just spend all the time you can together when you're together.
We're not overly social. We enjoy each other's company.
Yeah. And what about you? What do you I'd like to ask you what you miss the most, but that's probably not the question. The question is what makes you so happy about being sober?
I have a solution. I've learned to love myself, and that's the biggest thing. And from there on, you can love other people. If you have that confidence in yourself that you gain through the program. And what I mean about having a solution, I look at things as we see it in the Serenity Prayer. There's only certain things I can do and certain things I can't do. So if I eliminate half of those, or a good share of those, it makes life a lot easier to handle.
That's right.
And then I have a solution, and I can see the things that I can get fixed.
We call a lot of those unmanageables.
Yes.
There are things that we cannot manage, so just leave them alone.
Yeah. And when you're drinking, you think you can manage them, and you think you're a loser if you can't.
Yeah, you try to control everything out of fear,
Yeah.
but you try to control everything and everybody around you.
Oh, man. You know, I so wish they just had a 12-step program for 8th graders. Think how much life would be easier.
Oh, yeah.
If
Start
every
that
8th
then.
grader had to go through the 12 steps. And it didn't, obviously it wasn't alcohol. It could be anger, could be fear, could be afraid of this or not willing enough to do this. But just think of what we would be like if we had done this 30 years ago or 40. All right, thank you both for being here. You make a darling couple. I miss you on Saturdays when you're not there. I truly do. And Lila, thanks for being here. Thanks for Powell CDC. Bob, we'll see you later this week. I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. I love this job. I couldn't do it without you. Tonight, go home, think of somebody you haven't forgiven that you should forgive, and forgive them. Because as you forgive, you shall be forgiven. I'll see you in church.
Restoring